Hello, I just watched The King, directed by David Michôd. Pretty sure that's how you say it. It stars Timothy Chalamet, Joel Edgerton, Robert Pattinson, Sean Harris, and a lot of other great names that I love. And I will start off by saying that I was hyped for this movie. So I am a huge fan of Justin Kershall's 2015 Macbeth, and I'm a huge fan of Macbeth, the source material, the Shakespeare play, and those are both two of like my favorite pieces of media, and I think it's an amazing adaptation. And I've always been disappointed that that movie did not do well in the box office. And Justin Kershall did the Assassin's Creed movie, which I haven't seen, and I'm a fan of Assassin's Creed, but I'm sure is the Assassin's Creed movie, and the tragedy that is that type of movie kind of falling under the water is disappointing. So when I saw this on Netflix, which I only saw recently, it's weird. It's been out since 2019, yeah. And it's like it's the same cinematographer. It also has Sean Harris, who I adore and I think was amazing as Macduff in Macbeth. Was the same sort of slow, methodical, 15th century, um, you know, United Kingdom style movie. I was incredibly excited, and then I heard that it was also an adaptation of Shakespeare's King Henry plays, which I'm not actually familiar with the King Henry plays. I've not gotten to those yet in my English education. Um, but after watching this, I certainly will. And my expectations were very high, but I wasn't worried because I had a feeling that it would fulfill my expectations. And it was not what I expected at all. It is very different from Macbeth 2015 in a way that surprised me and really took me out of what I thought it would be in a good way. The King is a very slow, methodical, pensive movie. Um, it's not big. It's surprisingly small. It does not have massive explosive character moments. It does not have these massive sweeping shots. It does sort of, but not in the same way Macbeth had. And I think that is the hugest strength of this movie is I have not seen a movie made like this ever. It's not it, it's so quiet, even though what it's dealing with is a very loud plot. So it follows. I haven't even given a synopsis yet. So the King is about Prince Hal, who later becomes King Henry. His father dies, and the crown is eventually bestowed upon him, and he's not really liked. He's a drunk. He likes to party and not really do much with his life, and he eventually engages in war with France, and it's about him trying to figure out how to not be his father, and he doesn't like the way his father was violent and impulsive, and it's in a way that's similar to Macbeth, definitely a very sort of psychoanalytical thing. And what I appreciate about this movie is how how unique it is, and the tone is quiet and pensive, and it's able to take this big story. But unlike Macbeth 2015 and Macbeth the play, and once again, I haven't read or seen King Henry, so I don't really know what it's about. Um, and it's able to present this in this very intimate way, which I think is very much due to the presentation, among other things. Obviously, this is Adam Arkapaw, I think is his name, who's the same cinematographer as Macbeth, and I think Macbeth is like top 5 best looking movies in history. And this movie is insane. It's very different, but the way this movie looks is unlike anything else. Um, he has this ability to make things seem so popped out of the background. There's so much depth to every shot, but there's also so much texture. The production design of this movie is insane. The sets are amazing. The costumes, the suits of armor are amazing. The battle scenes in this movie, there's a battle scene at the end that is just so unique and unlike anything, and it's really cool. But once again, it's not a movie that makes you feel a lot of things. It is Shakespeare. And I'm struggling to rate this movie and find a sort of numerical rating for it because I don't know how much of this movie do I find interesting because of the source material. Is it a great adaptation in a way that's interesting, or is it just basically doing like page to screen and has a lot of great, great presentation, a lot of sparkly stuff on it, but it definitely interests me. And I don't like using the word interesting in life. It's a weak word that you can use to replace actually describing stuff. But but this movie is the most interesting movie I've seen in a long time. It's definitely worth a watch if you're into this sort of stuff. It's very different and it's very new. And David Michôd, that's his name, right? Yeah, I'm know he's very well liked. I'm not actually familiar with anything else he's done, and I'm excited to see what else he does. And I hope we get more movies like this because this is a type of movie that I think is very new and very contemporary, and I think we need more of. And a lot can come out of this genre, and it redefined ideas I had of what could be done. But thing is, this movie is still 2 hours and 20 minutes of people talking. It's not in the original Shakespearean language, but it's still Old English. It's you have to be able to sit down and concentrate on it and be able to want what it's going to give you. If you're just looking for something that's fun, I wouldn't do this. Even honestly, even though it'd be way less comprehensible because that is in the original Shakespearean language, go watch Macbeth 2015 because that movie, just as watching is like a music video just for the colors and the noises, is great. But yeah, The King is very interesting and very cool and really provoking in a way that I think is very new. I didn't touch on this, but the performances are amazing. I'm really warming up to Timothée Chalamet. I wasn't a huge fan of him, but he's very cool, and Robert Pattinson is great, and Sean Harris is great. I think Timothée Chalamet can be added to the ranks of those actors, like Ryan Gosling comes to mind, who can say so much with a single facial expression, and he really melts into this role in a way I didn't expect. So I'll probably give this one, let's say like a 5.7 out of 10. Um, but I think I usually the rate it where a 5 is neutral and above 5 is better and under 5 is worse. A 5.7 out of 10, but it's definitely because it's not it's not a super entertaining movie, but there's a lot there. And I will definitely, if I ever read King Henry and kind of work through it, I will come back to this and re-review it. So thank you for watching. This is my sort of first impressions. I just watched review of The King. It's a little long, but I hope you enjoyed it. See you next time. Check it out if it interests you. It's on Netflix, and I want to buy the Blu-ray to see it in higher quality because compression on this movie is gross with all the haze. Bye!